Good
Good.
morning.
How's everybody doing this morning?
Doing all right. How you doing today?
I'm good. I just got off work this morning.
Oh, you got to be especially tired then.
A little bit, but we were going on vacation for several days before that, so I'm burning. Shoulders are on fire right now.
And all that time on the beach.
Yeah, which really we had one day that we got rained out. We were there about 30 minutes before it rained, started pouring, and then we went back the day before we left and stayed there pretty much all day, which was a mistake.
Still working on sharing the things. How you doing today, Joe?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. Just hoping the storms stay away for a while.
I know it. I seen your comment in Fear Fans last night that you got kicked out because of the storm.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't rain as much as I think it was just Spectrum having internet issues. Like somebody may have taken out a line or winds knocked the line down or something because we didn't get any rain here until this morning.
Okay.
But, you know, the internet's not too good when you're out in the middle of nowhere.
This is true.
It, the the winds can just do a number on just about anything out this way.
And I can tell from personal experience that living in a trailer court
Yeah.
is not the best place to be in storm.
No,
So
no. Storms don't bother me though that much. It's just when they knock out the power or something like that, and it's like, great. What am I going to do until it comes back on? You know.
that's why I always try to make sure that my phone and my laptop are charged
Yeah,
before a storm comes.
but see, my phone's always charged, but when that goes out, the internet goes out. There's no way of getting because I don't get a good signal out here because I'm out in the country.
Right.
You know, if I was closer to Watertown, closer to in town, which is about 5 miles from here, I might get a better connection with them. Otherwise, when I'm inside, I have to rely on Wi Fi. So when the power gets knocked out, Wi Fi is out, and I'm lucky to get anything on my phone.
You're just cut off from the world then when that
Yeah,
happens, more or less.
Okay, so this is going to be one of the more difficult episodes that we've ever done. Um, 6 days ago, we lost the man that literally put wrestling on the map for all of us. I don't think, well, no, I know that professional wrestling as a whole would not be where it is today if not for Hulk Hogan.
yeah, that's all of wrestling.
All of wrestling, yeah.
You know, you wouldn't have no AEW, TNA, they'd all be, Ring of Honor, WWE.
Just the name Hulk Hogan, is synonymous with wrestling, of course. But I mean, there's hardly anybody who doesn't know who Hulk Hogan is, even if they don't watch wrestling.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
Saturday morning cartoons, there was Hulk Hogan had his own cartoon for a while, the wrestling thing.
yeah,
Yep, this one right here.
Yeah,
rock and roll
that's
wrestling.
because
Yep.
he was responsible for the Rock and Wrestling Connection.
Yes, he was.
Brought in Cindy Lauper, uh, and they had the whole thing with Wendy Richter, Captain Lou Albano, and all of that. But
Mhm.
that in turn, you wouldn't have the entrances that you have today if it wasn't for that.
Right.
Right.
And the smaller territories, they either just come to the ring or they had, um, you know, one of their favorite songs or whatever come to the ring. You know.
But now it's like a big deal,
Yeah.
and like we were saying earlier, you wouldn't have had WrestleMania 1, or the first one might not have been anywhere near taken off the way it did, because Hogan brought in Mr. T, and then at the same time, Hogan also brought in the outside people that didn't normally watch wrestling, because he just got done filming Rocky 3 at that time too.
That one was, I think, the launching pad for him, Rocky 3, because at that time he was still what's known as a journeyman wrestler. And let's see, I don't remember specifically exactly the years, but as in this video, I've played this thing a long ass time. This is actually featured his battles with Nick Bockwinkel in AWA.
Oh yeah.
I think it was around that time that he filmed Rocky that he was going after the AWA title, but they kept they kept doing like I think I think it, at that time it was still considered a dusty finish where Hogan would win the title and then almost immediately it would be handed right back to Bockwinkel because Vern Gagne didn't see Hulk Hogan as a wrestler, and he felt that only wrestlers deserved to be the world champion, even though he clearly back then had the crowd behind him.
Yeah, he did. It's yeah, it's I just I was shocked. You know,
Well,
he was
it was like,
supposed to start that new wrestling promotion with Eric Bischoff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
well,
And apparently that's still going to go off, or at least the exact first show of it.
They already have TV distribution set up for it.
Yeah, and Fox Nation.
So
well,
that alone is big, is huge.
the week started off just crazy because we just lost Ozzy. And like we're still dealing with that.
They're actually doing the funeral now.
Yeah, I saw a live feed of the funeral procession.
Yeah. They're doing the thing for him like they normally would for the Royals. So he is about the
Hmm.
closest thing to being a Royal, really, over there. But yeah, that's. But we all knew that Ozzy was going to go. We just didn't think it was going to be
That
like,
quick.
yeah, 2 weeks after his last show.
Farewell concert. Yeah.
Yeah. Now Hogan, he was a
That was out of
surprise.
the blue.
Yeah, that was sudden. When I first saw the news um, being reported somewhere on Facebook, I'm like, nah, that can't be real.
Yeah, I had to go look it up myself to see if it was real or not.
Yeah,
Well, you got so many
But
hoaxes now that pop up out of the blue on social media. That's the first thing I do when I see one pop up. I was like, all right, I ain't buying this until I actually look and do some research on
yeah,
it.
because TMZ is not exactly the most reputable thing.
No,
Um, And
Well,
then New York Post started doing that, but they put in per TMZ, and I'm thinking, okay, so everybody is jumping on that, and then WWE put out a thing. I thought, oh, okay, this is real. This is legitimate now. Uh,
yeah, he was honored on all three of their shows.
that
Friday Night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, and then NXT.
that was, a, yeah, he deserves that. A lot of people are saying that is overkill, but I don't think it is. I'm actually hoping that they would do that at SummerSlam.
You know, they should, because what he did, you can't, no matter what he did in his personal life, you can't take away from what he did for wrestling.
No,
And he was like an icon and a living legend, and he had a lot of respect from a lot of wrestlers. You know, I mean, he would have never body slammed Andre the Giant if Andre didn't
Didn't
allow
let
it.
him.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
And a misconception was that Hogan was the first one to body slam him, but at the time it was very believable because nobody really knew anything of other territories where Hogan had slammed him at the Shea Stadium in 1980. Harley Race slammed him. Kamala slammed him. And I think Sergeant Slaughter also slammed him. But another thing to take into account, Andre wasn't as big in those years as he was in 87 because he just kept growing.
Right.
Right.
Um, and to this day, I stand by the Hulk Hogan Andre the Giant match is the single most important match in all of professional wrestling.
Well, yeah, Andre kind of passed the torch to Hogan,
He did.
because at that time, also, Andre was suffering from the disease that he had. It was causing him more and more pain. So, I mean, just getting to the ring and going off the ropes and stuff was causing him a lot of pain,
Right.
you know.
And he still continued on for 3 more years after that.
Right.
When he was supposed to have or wanted to retire before WrestleMania 3.
He was filming Princess Bride whenever
Hmm.
Vince came to him, told him he needed him in a match.
I still have never seen that movie.
He hadn't.
No,
That's a classic movie.
I know. I need to get my hands on it. I just never seen it. There's a lot of movies I've never seen that I want to get.
Yeah, I get that way too.
Um,
I get around to it.
Especially when there's so many movies out there.
You know,
I was looking up to see when they've announced a date on his funeral, but I haven't seen anything yet.
No, well, they're just now burying Ozzy today.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as Hogan goes, they may just decide to do like a little private thing. Who knows? It's really all what the family wants to do.
yeah,
I don't. I am not a big fan of publicizing funerals, but I can understand why they're doing it for Ozzy. And I can certainly understand if they do the same thing for Hogan. But if they try to do that for Hogan, I fear that they would have a lot of protesters out there.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, look what happened to him because of that. when he showed up on Netflix for the Raw very premiere episode of Raw, he got completely booed out of the stadium.
Yeah, I felt so bad for him
You know,
that night.
you know, everybody makes mistakes in their lives, and when you're under the public eye like he is, like it's being under a microscope. Everything you do gets criticized.
Yep.
And you don't give the guy a chance to explain, or maybe but he didn't murder anybody. He didn't, he just said some words that offended people. And I'm sorry, this country's gotten too. I don't know what the right word is. I just wanted to,
Too soft.
yeah, they get offended too easily
Yeah.
nowadays. And I mean, if you grew up in our days, there wouldn't be a day that go by where you wouldn't get offended by some of the shit that came out of people's mouths.
Right. Well, he said
Or,
that when he was growing up, that word was thrown around freely. My
yeah,
dad told me the same thing that was thrown around freely, and
it still is today.
yeah.
You
You
know,
know,
So
but depending on who you are, depends if you get away with it or not.
well,
right.
that and like I said, the world's gone soft. They're banning all this stuff that they say is racist or but it's part of our history too.
Is
You can't. He didn't do anything that would make me dislike the man. Okay, Hogan did. May have been part of but you may have done the same thing if you were in his shoes, and so he's part of the thing that destroyed WCW, but he wasn't the only one as part of that because he had
the Tom?
what was creative control over his character when he was in WCW. Well, if I had creative control over my character and I was a wrestler in WCW, I wouldn't want to give up the title either.
Well,
You
a
know?
lot of different things happened with WCW, and the
But
reason
but
it
that
fell
was
apart
just
was
one of the
that
stepping stones that added to, you can't pin it down to just on one person.
uh,
That was a lot
Like the
of
old
people
saying, it takes
involved
two to
there.
tangle.
Well, there was a lot of people behind the scenes that were involved in the destruction of WCW. And most of it was corporate
Yeah.
because they were tying Eric Bischoff's hands, what he could do and what he couldn't do.
Eric himself said that he saw it in '98, the end of WCW coming because of what the executives were saying.
Yeah,
But with that, the storylines that they were doing at the time, and much later, certainly did not help.
no, but they in the Monday Night Raws, the Monday Night Wars, they led because of Hogan for 97 straight weeks. They beat out Raw.
83.
Oh, was it 83?
Yeah.
But still, that was
It-
all because they got Hogan there. You know, I mean, the whole thing about Hogan is he even made the NWO cool.
mm,
The original idea was they were going to try to talk Sting into turning heel, and he was going to be the third man.
it
And
would not.
Hogan's like, no, I got it. He's like, I should do it.
It would. Well, actually, Eric had talked to Hogan about it first, and he turned it down because
Right.
he didn't see. So that was when he decided to go to Sting. And then once Hall came in, and then Nash came in, and Hogan started seeing the potential behind it, and he said, "No, I need to be that third man." And it never would have worked on the level that it did with Sting.
No, it wouldn't have. I agree
no,
because you know Sting turning. He didn't really turn heel ever. He kind of went to a dark side with the Crow thing.
Yeah.
Hogan actually turned heel during that thing, and
And
it
that was
went off.
and that was back when you never would have expected
Mhm.
Hogan to turn heel.
Right.
I mean,
But it was the perfect timing for it.
Yes, it was.
That's
yeah,
just it. And then he says this is a new order of new world order of wrestling and all of that, and just turned on everybody and became Hollywood Hogan and did the black and white thing. You know, that was just genius.
And all of a sudden Hulk Hogan was fresh,
Yeah,
like we had never seen him before.
right.
well,
Uh,
The
you get the
crowds,
whole
the
you get
crowd
the whole
stayed behind him too.
you get the whole cookie cutter thing, and you're used to the common the stuff that happens every match he's got. It finishes the same way over and over.
yes,
So it's a fresh new thing to where I believe him and his character could now uh, branch out and do things he's wanted to do, and not worry about backlash, from the babyface crowd.
If that first time when he turned heel and he threw all that trash in the ring, Hogan knew there was something there, you know. And then after that, it's like, hey, they still cheered him.
and a fan even tried to get into the ring too
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
night.
it got so bad, but after that whole thing, the NWO became something that was super cool.
Yep,
You know, and see, they're going to do the same thing with Cody.
that match.
They're going to do the same thing with Cody eventually. He's going to turn heel.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. When John Cena turned heel earlier this year, it a lot
He,
of people were comparing it to Hogan. I said, yeah, that you can compare it to that, but
there,
it's not quite on that same level.
no,
nothing will be.
because John Cena really can't pull off the heel as well as Hogan did and get away with it.
Right.
You
You
Um,
know,
know,
and that's not to say that John Cena has done a bad job. I think he's been really good as a heel, but it's
I've
just
seen
not
worse.
like what Hogan did.
Oh, not on Hogan's level.
No.
well, something of
Cody
this
might be able to pull it
level
off on
never
Hogan's
happened.
level.
It never happened before at that level until
Right.
Hogan did it. So now everybody's just following suit.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah. But Hogan, it's like everything he did was gold in wrestling. Sure that there are some things that he did in wrestling that is not exactly popular as WrestleMania 9, for example. But the crowd was still behind him in Las Vegas when that happened. It's just only later. Now we see why Kris isn't here. So maybe he'll join in a little bit later.
But
But it's only later when people started hearing the story of what actually happened for WrestleMania 9. That's when Hogan started getting some of that backlash.
mhm.
Um, and it's not to say that they're wrong, because we were all looking forward to. Let's see. I don't think they were calling it the new generation yet, but that's what they were going for. And then Hogan came back, and now the title went back to him for a couple of
Mhm.
months, and then he's gone again.
Yeah. But how many times have we seen part-time champions since then? You know,
Since we didn't really start getting part-time champions until I
Brock
think
Lesnar.
until Brock. Yeah, I think that was when that started.
You know, and but
No, not Brock. Rock. I think Rock was the first one.
None of it would have happened and none of it would have gone. It all falls back to Hogan because all of this wrestling that we see today is because of what he did.
Right.
You know, that one of his first movies, he did all those movies. Some of them were okay, some of them sucked, but he did that one and it'll always stick in my mind. He he took wrestling and made that No Holds Barred movie. And there was that tiny, his name was Tiny Luster, the big black guy that played
Yeah.
Zeus.
Uh,
He actually, after that happened, ended up coming to wrestling for. That was another like celebrity crossover to bring in more, and that was all Hawk's idea too.
Wasn't that a WrestleMania? Him and Zeus.
I don't know, but you know
Mr. T was at WrestleMania.
that was Hogan as well because of
Yeah,
Rocky 3.
Zeus was at SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and then the No Holds Barred pay per view, which
You know,
was the movie and then the match right after that.
you
Um,
know, and
we-
the thing is, and I can't. I'm trying and I can't find it, but there was this. I'm going to try to be accurate about quoting this. You know, Mr. T was asked about Hogan and his racist remarks, and he's like, I don't hold anything against him, because I'm a Christian, so I've learned to forgive. If Hogan would have called me, you know, before he died, I would have answered the phone and I would have talked to him.
there were many wrestlers who have said something similar to the same thing, that what is being put out there is not the guy I know. Devon Dudley has said something like that. Booker T said, hell, Booker T called him that back in 94, 95 on live TV. Remember that?
You know, and it's like after he dies, people got to sit there and saying all this shit and hold that one incident against him, and it's
I
pretty
was
pathetic.
I was thinking about it before we came on air this morning. I knew this topic was going to come up during this whole conversation. There's not a person alive that regrets something they said or something they did in their life.
Exactly.
Doesn't
I
define who you are as a person.
I agree 100%.
Now, you know, depending on the actions that you do, murder and rape, that type of stuff. Now, that's a little different than what you say. Um, and
And Hogan never did anything bad. One thing that he did admit to, which is totally understandable, especially for the time in the 80s, when
Steroids.
you're on top, you do what you can to stay on top. He
Yeah.
admitted that himself.
And then the steroid thing.
That came
yeah,
after.
everybody
Right.
was
But
more
still,
back then.
a lot of them were on steroids and got their bodies. You could tell. They'd
Right.
leave for a while and they'd come back and they're twice as buffed as they were before.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
they come back and they got a six pack where they never had one before. You know.
yeah, you got so many people that now it's like you said earlier, Joe. It's like people are soft now.
Yeah.
You can't,
Yeah.
you know, you get your feelings hurt because of some words. Come on. We grew up in a time where you could say crap to us and it was like it rolls off our back and keep on going.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in school, we we had this old saying, "Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me."
Yep.
Apparently, that doesn't apply anymore.
No,
Nope. People get hurt by the strangest things.
And I don't know if it's so much they're hurt or they just want to have an excuse to cause drama.
Well, I think it's because of social media and having to cause drama. Because I had a friend that he had a really successful podcast, and that's what got me started. He helped me get started. He's a really good friend of mine. He's a comic out of Milwaukee, but all of a sudden, when that Me Too movement and stuff started happening, and people started getting really soft and getting really offended by everything, it was hard to be a comic anymore. He ended up he ended up because he said something, and it wasn't even racist something. It was just something that offended somebody, like a point of view on whatever subject. I don't even remember. He got a lot of hate mail and death threats. He don't even have a Facebook account anymore because of that shit.
Well, see, I mean, you start talking about
And it
comments
was
and stuff
all
back in the
because of
80s.
something he said during the heat of a moment on a specific topic that he was passionate about. And he made a joke, and people got offended and started lashing out.
I
And it's
can
like, Jesus
get the
Christ.
whole I can get the whole time and place for everything, but there are certain subjects out there that I would say you just don't joke about.
And well, it wasn't one of those things either. It was something really like stupid to get, and some people got up. And it's like, Jesus Christ, what would you do if Archie Bunker was still on the air?
Yeah.
You know?
Archie Bunker,
That would not
Jefferson's,
fly down.
Sanford's son.
Yeah. I mean, my God, TV back then was even offensive in some cases.
Yeah, Archie Bunker would not survive today.
No, he wouldn't.
Sanford and Son would not survive today.
But All in the Family and Jeffersons and Sanford and Son, they were all great shows at the time.
They were. They were. They still are.
Right. They're great classics, but see, now they're so offensive to so many different people.
Here we go.
And
Hey, Chris.
that's a pathetic
Rise and shine, Chris.
sad truth to this world.
It-
I'm an hour
it's-
behind you. Remember
Well,
that.
well, you think about this too. Look at where wrestling was and where wrestling is now. Things in the Attitude Era you can't do now.
Oh yeah, you can't do half the shit there was. They wouldn't even be able to get away with a woman. What was her name? She had the handprints. Just
Stay-
Sable.
Sable.
Sable. Yeah.
yeah, that
Get away with an outfit like that again.
But there was actually something on NXT. It was
But
either last night or last week. Somebody was saying something. I thought, "Whoa, how are they doing this?" I
You talking about TNA?
was, huh?
Talking about maybe TNA with Tony Storm?
No, no, it was on NXT. Um, somebody was. Oh, it was last night. It was shit. Blake. She was body shaming
Yeah.
Jordan. She was body
Hardcore.
shaming how Jordan used to be 10 years ago, and I thought,
And still wasn't bad looking, by the way.
huh?
And still didn't look that bad 10 years ago.
I thought back then. I thought she looked great.
I thought she looked better then than now with the just totally ripped look, but just me.
I'm going to agree with you to a point. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
there's a point to being unhealthy, which for her back then, I don't think she was unhealthy. But as much as she's working out and everything, I think she can work herself out to being unhealthy, even though she'll have a great physique. But yeah, I thought with them doing that last night, wow, that's actually kind of really pushing the limit, and maybe they're trying to put little feelers out for certain Attitude Era stuff.
It gave me, and I hate saying it, but it gave me the Piggy James vibe. Remember
Yes,
when they called her Piggy James instead of Mickey James? And
even Michelle and Layla had both said they hated doing that. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, they get pretty racy as it is, and I'm not talking about, you know, I'm talking about the way the women dress. Some of them, leaves very little to imagination with some of the ring attire that they wear. And I remember watching that LFG,
yeah,
and Mickey James was on there, and it's like, she was talking about some short shorts that one of them was wearing, and blah blah blah. Like, you need to cover up, and this isn't that era anymore. We don't do that anymore. But they do that, and it's like, and I've seen this been said 1,000 times or more. Thank God for the cameraman, because they get in there at the right angles at the right time.
yeah.
and then a couple weeks later, so Ruka does what she did with the title belt at Evolution.
Mhm.
Don, did you ever go back and watch that?
I did not.
You should.
I saw a little video of that, but yeah,
Um, but anyway, getting back to Hogan, yeah, he openly admitted that when at the time when you're at the very top of the company, you do whatever it takes to stay at the top of the company. Uh,
Well, everybody said that at one time or
yeah,
another.
yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people don't like him because of that as well. Even though anybody else would have done the same thing.
Well, Stone Cold would have done it. And, everybody's done that. When they got the belt, they'll do just about anything. Because you get the bigger paycheck, you get more TV time, you know, and then that helps your merchandising, which is another thing Hogan helped bring in.
Right.
Is all the merchandising that they have nowadays. It might have been something different if they didn't have. I mean, when Hogan was coming out to that Real American song and all of that, I am a real American, you know, they were selling a lot of merchandise, and it was a lot of Hogan merchandise at that time.
Did,
That was
that wasn't even his theme song to begin with.
No,
no.
but you want to know something interesting about that? There was a real life. If you watch a lot of the older uh, uh, premium live events, if you go back a
yeah,
year or so and watch them, you'll see a guy in the audience dressed like Hogan with the blonde hair, the mustache, the whole works, right? He was known, I forgot what he was known as, but he was like a Hulk
Roddy.
Hogan lookalike. And he appeared on TV quite a bit in the audience because he
Roddy
was
Hogan.
at a lot of the premium live events and all the other thing. He died this year, as well as the guy who wrote and did the song "I Am a Real American."
Yeah, so think about that for a minute. What are the odds of that happening? Within 2 months, all three of them would die.
Yep.
Um, the guy you're talking about, he went by the name of Roddy Hogan, but his
Yeah,
real
that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw
his
that.
real name is Eric Service. Um,
But I remember seeing him a lot. I always commented on him when I saw him in the audience when I was watching it on TV, and I'd see him and I'm going, oh, there's that dude that looks like Hogan. And there's also a dude that also dresses like Savage quite a bit too.
Hmm.
well,
Yeah,
he's still going to shows. Last I think he was at WrestleMania this year.
yeah,
He's quite a bit younger too, I think.
Right. But I'm just saying, they were the two noticeable ones that were always there.
Yeah, I'm trying to find how old Eric was. The closest thing I can find is that he was in his 70s, and I don't know. Okay, Eric had been in poor health for years. and in and out of the
What's up,
hospital,
Lana?
You know,
in and out of the hospital for over a month. Passed away last night. Okay, so I hadn't been able to find his exact age, and he died just a week before Hogan did,
yeah.
less than a week before.
And when did Derringer die?
May 26th.
Okay. I know we looked it up because we talked about it the other day. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking at all of that and thinking, wow, did Hulkamania really die this year?
Oh, Hulkamania live forever.
Yeah, it'll live forever, but
Immortal.
the three figures of it: Hulk Hogan, the fan Roddy Hogan, and Rick Derringer, all dying in the same year within 2 months of each other.
Right.
It's just weird the way that worked out.
Yeah, you know, yeah, it is kind of funny. You know,
Maybe that
and
was the Kris thing.
I was just gonna say it happened. You know, things happen in threes too, but you know, and somebody could say, well, it's just coincidence. Well, I don't believe in coincidences. You know, and take a quote from Gibbs. You know,
Yeah,
it's just kind of strange that that happened.
it
Don't
is.
don't forget Hulkamania was born in AWA too. Actually, he was doing that there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because that was when he really started capturing the fans, and then when he came to the WWF and beat Iron Sheik, that's when it launched.
Yep. Because Vern kept screwing him out of the title.
Yep,
Vern Anya kept screwing him. Would give it to him and then take it back immediately, or yeah,
that's that's what this is. The old wrestling tape from back in 1990.
nice. And
Yeah,
then yep. And then Vince guaranteed him, contracted up that he would win the title within like a year, or so he jumped.
yeah. It's just it's just a shame that Vern never saw the potential of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
But the thing is, if he did, and Hogan ended up staying in AWA, then what would have happened?
right. But does he become that person in AWA?
I don't know.
Because then we can go through this because then he don't go to WWF, which wasn't quite national yet. But then they do their whole thing with Black Saturday and get them bought back out, and then Vince uses that money to run WrestleMania, which blew up WWF and made it what it is today. So
Right, but would it have blown up the way that it did without Hulk Hogan? I'm not
ex-
so
I
sure.
don't think
exactly,
so
Hogan needed.
because when Hogan joined the WWF, he brought some of the wrestling talent with him.
He did. Bobby Heenan, Mean Gene.
You know, and so that first WrestleMania would have probably died, been the first and only one.
Yeah, I mean they wouldn't have had one anyway. Afterward,
WrestleMania, when you really look at the wrestlers who were on there, it it was a super card, but you could almost say that it was a super card of multiple organizations because you had Hogan from AWA, you had Junkyard Dog from Mid South Wrestling, Ricky Steamboat, I think, my
NWA
NWA. I was thinking Hawaii,
that
But either
might have
way,
been both or one or the other.
yeah.
They
Uh,
were like to jump back and forth back then.
Right. So the talent of WrestleMania 1 was comprised of people who had come over from all of these organizations.
And you had SD Jones on it too. I mean, I don't
Well,
know if he was talented. I liked him. I remember him as a kid, and I always liked him. But it's just funny that you put essentially a jobber on WrestleMania. You know,
well, I feel bad for him, but at the same time, even his spot is legendary.
Hmm.
for WrestleMania. I think that it is a completely underrated spot. Um,
Wasn't he the very first match in WrestleMania history?
no, that was the second. The first match was Tito Santana and the Executioner.
Okay, thank you. Executioner. There's another one.
Yeah,
Yep.
Tito. I felt really bad for him because that was his only WrestleMania win, unless you count WrestleMania 9, which wasn't even on the main card.
Oh no, I did not know that. I always liked Tito too.
Yeah, he was one of my favorites.
I always liked Chico.
Um, but anyway, yeah, getting back to Hogan, I don't think WrestleMania would have blown up without Hogan's involvement.
No, it needed him,
Yes,
and it really needed that slam at WrestleMania 3, and that's what pushed it way over.
that was beyond stratosphere right there. And I remember watching the tape of WrestleMania 3, even after the match was over and Hogan was doing his pose down thing. Then he started leaving. Then, um, at least on the tape that I had, they started playing the stills from the whole event, still
Oh
playing his song all the way through. And I thought, this is the moment right there.
yeah,
Um,
The first WrestleMania I ever watched was three, and it was on a video, VHS, back in the
same.
day.
I believe so. I think that's the
The actual match I knew was going on because I was already watching Mid South and stuff like that, and watching Sunday Night's Main Event and all that stuff. And I remember it was like this was back when they were still pushing the wrestling as being real,
real. Yeah,
you know,
Yeah,
uh,
before they broke kayfabe.
unscripted. Let's say unscripted. Um, but I remember on George Michael's Sports Machine used to come on after the news, and it
okay.
was basically that's where we heard that Hogan won and wound up slamming Andre.
I know. I was like, oh man, now I know. It, who knew at the time it was called a spoiler? But I mean, that was basically a spoiler for me because I wasn't able to watch it.
Yeah, but it was like it gave us legitimacy to the actually wrestling as
You're right
being a
there.
sport,
You're right there too.
and not being so-called fake, stuff. But now we use a scripted.
so
So
with
good.
that, I'm actually looking forward to watching Unreal. Um,
Is it out yet?
from what I understand, the first 3 episodes are out on Netflix now, maybe 5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah, because somebody was saying that he was binging it, all the episodes that were out there. So it's either 3 or 5 that have been released yesterday. Um,
Yeah.
so and another thing about Hogan that he doesn't get near enough credit is how good of a wrestler he actually was. Because there's American style Hogan that we all know and grew up with, but then there was the wrestling style that he did in Japan that nobody pays attention to. And when you watch his matches in Japan,
He can go.
yeah,
Yeah, he's actually wrestling.
Yeah.
yeah, he knows these moves now. Sure, because of his size, they may not be as fluid as, say, Brian Danielson or Rey Mysterio or any of those guys.
Even using his day, Ricky Steamboat or Snuka to use even in his day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or Flair, even hell. But yeah, exactly. He could go.
yeah, he could absolutely go, and people just don't give him credit. They say, "Oh, Hulk Hogan, he was a terrible wrestler. He only did 3 moves." You know what? You say the same thing about John Cena.
John Cena. You
And
can
when
say that about
you,
almost every wrestler that's big.
yeah,
John Cena, Stone Cold. I mean, It goes
Yeah,
on and
Everybody's
on.
got their move set.
Stone.
Everybody has their move set.
Yeah, well,
Cody,
Stone Cold had to adjust his moveset because of
he got hurt. He
his.
could go too before he got hurt.
Yeah, look at his time in WCW.
Hollywood Blondes,
Yeah,
he could go.
um, but
Changed his finisher so he wouldn't impact his neck anymore.
what's that?
Changed his finish. Well, completely started using the stunner so it wouldn't impact his neck anymore. He already was, but
Oh yeah. Um,
he was using the stun gun a lot too.
One thing that I found interesting about Hogan with the leg drop was that he originally was doing the leg drop from the top rope like Bobby Eaton was,
Yeah.
and somebody talked him into stopping the top rope thing and just run the ropes and do it there, which to me was um, better.
Well,
He should,
imagine it extended his career too.
yeah. That
You know, coming
impact.
off coming off at the top rope, night after night.
And in
Leg
Japan,
drop
he
on.
used, what was it, the axe bomber or whatever, clothesline, basically. A lot. So,
You mean like the lariat?
yeah, they called it an axe bomber over there for some reason.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically a lariat slash clothesline, kind of a clothesline from hell, but not quite as impactful. And he should have kept with that, honestly.
Oh,
And
you
he
think
probably
about
would have had
those?
all those hip issues.
You think about people that did devastating clotheslines. You
Yeah,
know,
JBL.
JBL.
Stan
Um,
Hansen.
Stan Hansen. Yeah, it was basically like Stan Hansen's clothesline, except he folded his arm up a little more instead of.
Sid Vicious did one as Lord Humongous in CCW that it was one of the most memorable clotheslines I've ever seen done on a person. He hit this guy named Private Pile, and Pile sold it so well that he did like a 360,
I love those.
landed on
When
his head. I was like, oh my God, I think he just killed him because he was a small guy. Look, picture um Spike Dudley.
I was going to say Gilbert, but Spike
Um,
Dudley.
Same,
Picture
same.
Spike Dudley taking a clothesline from Sid Vicious
Yeah, wow.
to that
And
point.
doing that.
It was. I've looked
Yeah.
at the video clip and I cannot find it. I've looked and looked and looked. I was like, oh my God, this is unreal.
Um,
Jake Roberts, is to me has got one of the better
The
clotheslines.
short arm one that he does.
yeah,
DDT? Yes.
Yeah. Um,
short arm clothesline and then the DDT and then the match is over.
yeah. And nobody can DDT like Jake could.
No.
Did you see when he was asked about, using the DDT? It's basically a basic move nowadays. And he said, that's okay. That just means mine was the best.
Yeah, because nobody got up from his DDT.
Nope. Hell, even. Didn't he, like, legit hurt Ricky Steamboat with it?
He did.
Yeah. And Ricky inserted him. He didn't want to do it, but Ricky said, I'll do it. I'll do it. But,
Yeah, because they didn't have any ring mats.
yeah.
And Ricky said, don't worry, I'll be okay. And he did it. He wasn't okay.
No.
He heard that thud. Well, you could hear it listening to it on the show.
That. Yep.
Um,
Wow. Amazing.
but
Did
but
Hogan
Ricky, he owned up to it. I didn't do what I said I was going to do. That's my fault. And
Did Hogan and Jake ever feud?
they
I can't.
they were doing something together on house shows, but the fans were more behind Jake
Oh,
than they were Hogan, so they decided not to do that.
and Hogan with the big face, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
was-
Especially back when you thought it was real, and you couldn't have your bad guy getting cheered.
That was I'm going to guess that was probably in '89 when they did
I
that.
always liked Jake too.
Yeah.
Didn't like his little managerial role in AEW, but I pretty much liked everything else he's done.
So towards the end of Hogan like Joe, what you were bringing up with the whole steroid thing, and that was one of the main reasons why Hogan left the WWF in '92. That and he wanted a break and start doing movies,
Yep.
um, which I have a lot of his movies right here.
The Nanny.
No Holds Barred being his first actual feature. And then this year, I could not believe I was able to find this. The double feature of Mr. Nanny and Suburban Commando.
And
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Suburban Commando also had two other wrestlers in it.
Yeah.
It had The Undertaker. I don't know who else.
Uh,
There was another
I
big
think
guy that
Scott.
with Undertaker, but he wasn't a wrestler, I don't think.
I can't remember. There was two wrestlers aside from Hogan that were part of that one.
Yeah.
Taker was on there.
Oh, no, 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 no. I know you're talking about Professor Toru.
Toru Tanaka or whatever.
I'm looking it up
Yeah.
now.
That
Um,
was, he was in Running Man.
Christopher Lloyd's in that. I didn't realize that.
I would have to
no,
Google it.
he's not in that movie.
My Google machine ain't doing too good today.
Uh,
Now we're all like, oh.
in Mr. Nanny, there were a lot of wrestlers in that one there in the beginning. Alpha, Brutus, George Steele, Jim Neidhart, Kamala. Now, this is the interesting thing here about Mr. Nanny. Brutus Beefcake was dressed as the Zodiac.
God,
Three,
that was a horrible gimmick.
yeah, which 3 years later he would bring to WCW. But for whatever reason, it was in Mr. Nanny that they had him dressed like that. Okay, Professor Toru is not list. He was in
Pat Tanaka.
Tanaka.
That's who this one guy looks like a picture of. It's a different name they're using, but okay, maybe it's not because that's not the same name. But it looks just like Tanaka, so maybe
He was in one of Hogan's movies.
yeah.
Who
Uh,
is this? Bagwell?
he was Mr. Fuji's tag team partner.
Toru Tanaka.
That sounds, yeah,
Is
that's
that who we're talking about? Or
because
that's the one I can think of off the top of my head is Fuji and Tanaka. But
the other guy that was in Suburban Commando with the Undertaker, his name is Tony Longo, but he wasn't a wrestler.
he looks like one.
He,
He looks like he could be one.
he looked like he could be one. Absolutely, he could.
And maybe he was on some indies or something.
There was nothing mentioned on his Wikipedia page.
Yeah, okay, there you go then. I didn't look at it that close. I just looked at pictures and tried to see somebody I
Uh,
recognized in the cast. And that's the only guy. He looked like Pat Tanaka, and when I clicked on it, it wasn't Pat Tanaka. So that was the only thing I did. Like I said, my Google machine's slow today.
okay, Toru Tanaka, filmography.
I don't think he's done anything, probably.
No, he's been in plenty of movies.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, he was on The Running Man. Oh, he was in Three Ninjas.
Oh, Toru Tanaka.
Toru Tanaka, Professor Tanaka.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he,
Oh,
he was in Three
no.
Ninjas. That's why I remember. Okay, get this. About a month and a half ago, I went on a hunting spree for Hulk Hogan's movies. I got Mr. Nanny, Suburban Commando. I got
Like,
all of the Three Ninjas because they all came together in a pack. I got Santa with Muscles, Secret Agent Club. So I got all of those. And then he dies.
It's like you knew. Subconsciously, like you knew.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird that happened that way.
Yeah, that really is.
Um, I
Wow.
I actually found, in fact, that on Thursday night when we were doing the Ozzy and Hogan tribute on Supernatural Talk,
Yeah.
I found the entire series of this on DVD and got it.
Oh,
I
In
love
fact,
that. I
it
watched that about a year ago. I binged it somewhere.
yeah.
That
Um,
says volume three. Is that the entire, or is that just that?
no, they. This is the only one that I got.
But Brad Garrett was the voice of Hogan.
There's there's only 2 episodes on this. Uh,
Hogan was not actually his own voice. Hardly any of them were in
Well, that
that.
don't make any damn
no,
sense.
Brad Garrett was the voice of Hogan.
Yeah. You know Brad Garrett, Donald?
Mhm.
Tall comedian, was on everything. Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's
Really
the
deep voice
Thomas
guy.
brother,
Yeah.
Sounds like Herman Munster.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. He even does an imitation of him in his act at one point.
and he even did Thunder in Paradise. I watched that show every week when it was on.
Same.
I enjoyed this one.
I think it was on either right before or right after wrestling over here.
Uh,
Maybe not where you guys were, but where we were. Maybe not even on the same channel, but I would go immediately to it.
no, it would have
So,
been on the same channel, but I'm not. I don't know if it was on the same night though.
Yeah, I think it was here. I'm thinking, or maybe it was a different type. Maybe it was like after Nitro on Tuesday night or whatever night Nitro was on or something.
going back to that Hogan's Rock and Wrestling, there was only one season, and there's 13 episodes. So that's the entire thing.
13 episodes. Yeah, it wasn't many. I love the beginning, and if you watch it, you can see a girl get trampled. They didn't even give a
There's 26. There's 2 seasons.
of what rock and wrestling.
Really?
Yeah, there's 2 seasons, 13 episodes apiece.
All I'm seeing is one. Check out Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's what it says on Wikipedia. It ran for 2 years.
I just got to check that out now because I see him only one too. I believe you, but I just got to check it out myself. You
Yeah.
know.
It was in the hottest 2 years of his run.
85 to 86.
26 episodes, yeah.
Yeah.
What other website I hit didn't have it?
Music season one. Yeah, it's showing 2 seasons on Wikipedia. You're
Yeah.
correct.
This here, in my opinion, is the pinnacle of Hogan's film career. Even though he wasn't a part of it, he did live action stuff, but he didn't do the actual cartoons.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
back then, that Rock and Wrestling had that original theme of Hogan.
yeah, it did. It was
It's like people just saying Hulk, Hulk.
Hulk.
so
Hulk.
it was called Hulk Hogan's theme by Jim Steinman.
Yeah.
Oh, he later worked it into Ravishing, which was by Bonnie Tyler.
Interesting. And Hogan also came out to Eye of the Tiger originally.
Didn't he use Eye of the Tiger at WrestleMania?
I
yeah.
think so.
Well,
Somewhere I had a video and it said his last ever match he used Eye of the Tiger too.
Well, he used the first time he used it was that WrestleMania
After
with Mr. T after they were filmed the Rocky movie,
yeah.
the Rocky 3 movie. So you had that. what was his name in that? Thunder Lips and Clubber Lang
Yep.
Yeah.
tagging together at WrestleMania. Yeah, so I think he used it then for the first time, and then it was, every now and then he'd use it. But the first time, I believe it was that first WrestleMania.
Because Vince was cheap and didn't want to buy rights to it. So he handed him Real American.
Well, a lot of
And you think
times,
about it. You
Well, he
think
bought
about it.
the rights to Real American too, though.
You
Yeah,
think
but he
about
already
it.
owned it. Vince already owned Real American. So
Well, you think about this. It was a great move on Vince's part.
yeah,
Why
absolutely.
pay? Why pay copyright to use the rights of other stuff? We'll make our own themes, and by God,
Yeah,
we
no,
put our
absolutely.
own dang records and CDs and
Yeah.
cassettes out.
I used to buy those records and CDs like the day they came out. I'd be down at the
I
place.
owned I owned the first wrestling album on cassette and the Pile Driver
Yeah,
wrestling album
right.
this,
cassette.
And that is the only one to have not been released on CD, and that pisses me off.
You can download them on the internet now and
Oh yeah,
Spotify.
but
Well,
it's not nothing like
got
having it
all the
in your
songs on
hand.
the computer. I just want the actual physical thing.
Yeah, there's
My
something
favorite song off
special.
all those was "Girls in Cars." I gotta say,
That was my favorite too.
I used to
You didn't
drive
like
my
Grab Them Cakes?
around with tape in there jamming and.
but now they
You didn't
got
like
these
Ever
big
watched the music
artists.
video?
you didn't like
What?
Junkyard's Grab Them Cakes?
Oh, nice. Way back before that became a popular term for the butt. Grab them cakes.
Yeah, grab them something, all right.
And now it's called.
Nowadays, nowadays the superstars have got, superstar Grammy people,
Doing
They
this
can
writing,
stuff.
do it now.
writing their intros and playing them for them, and so on, because they've come out there with the band, the actual band of the group at WrestleMania, and they would sing the theme song that they wrote for whatever character.
I like it when they do that.
I do too.
But that's another thing that got started because of Hogan's rock and wrestling connection, because he brought Cyndi Lauper in to manage Wendy Richter and all of that.
Yep.
It's a shame they never did that with Hogan, though. Have Rick Derringer come out with a band and play the theme song while Hogan came out. It's a shame they never did that.
Or
Or
had
like
Survivor come out at WrestleMania and sing Eye of the Tiger.
That
yeah.
would have been cool too.
They didn't make the money back then they are now to be able to do that kind of stuff though. To hire the
I've actually seen Survivor in concert, and it would have been really cool.
that's cool.
Yeah, from what I see here, Hogan started using the Real American on December 30th, 1985, during a match against Randy Savage.
Yes, so right after WrestleMania.
Yep.
I was at Madison Square Garden.
And Savage.
So
Savage's song was iconic too, so I don't mean to jump off the point, but that was iconic too.
oh yeah,
Let's see.
you can't beat Randy's theme song.
No, no.
Hard to believe him and Lanny were brothers.
The Genius.
Yeah. That would have been a hell of a tag team, honestly. Back then. Randy's power and strength and Genius doing a moon flip off the top.
So when Hogan went to WCW, what
Brilliant.
were your initial reactions to that? Me, I was completely shocked. I never thought I'd see that ever happen.
As a kid, it was, and I didn't use the terms at the time, but I thought bullshit. Come on, dude, you're WWF. The hell you doing?
Yeah.
It's literally like your favorite player going to a different team. You know, like John Elway going to the Raiders. You know,
This
it was
was all the time when that was going on. I wasn't watching wrestling. I had gotten out of it because WWE or WWF at the time got so, uh, to me, dumb with some of their wrestling personas. Clowns and IRS and all this stuff. And it's like
IRS, oh
this
my
is going
God.
to a sideshow. It's really looking like it's you know
Yeah, well,
That's era there.
I think the WWF back then did not know how to utilize the talent properly. I think that took him some time to learn. Um, they were trying to compete and come up with these ideas and stealing writers from this company over to this company. It was all a chaotic mess. The whole Monday Night War thing. All right. But when I saw Hogan show up on WCW, that didn't shock me. It would have shocked me when after WCW was bought out and all of that, if Sting would have sold out quicker than he did, you know, because Sting was always known as, the franchise or the company man. You
Sting
know,
was supposed to be the
Hogan
first
Hogan
person.
been around a while. He'd been to AWA and all of this and so on and so forth. So that didn't surprise me,
Yep,
you know.
yep. Sting was supposed to be the third person to actually turn and
Yeah,
become a hero,
but
but
I don't
they
think it
managed
would
to
have
pay
went out.
Hogan.
I don't think it would have went over as well as it did with Hogan.
Sting, I don't think had the personality, the talk
No,
ability to make it
Yeah.
work like Hogan. He
no,
could talk good for like a little surfer boy, and I loved
he
it.
did it right by turning Sting dark,
Yep,
and doing
that was
the
Hall's
whole
idea.
crow kind of theme.
Yep, well,
Like,
that was Scott Hall's idea.
yeah, but still, that
When
Sting pulled that off like flawlessly.
And the way that they were able to spread that from what, September of 96
Like a year.
all the way to December of 97, and it never once got stale.
and see,
Yeah,
that's when I started watching again. I started seeing Sting because he was always one of my favorite wrestlers from back in the day.
same.
Oh yeah, the feuds he had with Ric Flair was just
Legend.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
That those made Sting. Those made Sting. And that 60
That
minute
made
classic
Flair
champion.
too.
Flair was already made before that, I think.
Yeah, but it pushed his career even further. Those were some
I'll go there.
awesome matches
I'll go with you there too.
that Sting and Ric Flair had.
Yeah, because by the time Ric Flair went to the WWF, he was already 41, 42 years old.
Yeah.
So for that time, he was already the old man, and he was still able to continue on for another almost 20 years.
He did good. He was the
You know,
man.
Ric
Hogan,
Flair.
we're
Did,
not sitting here right now.
did you see that statement come out by Ric Flair after Hogan passed away?
I saw it and I don't remember it, but I did
He's
see
kind of
it.
like all paranoid now because he thinks he's next.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Well,
with that, I do want to bring this up because I'm actually very surprised considering the health issues that these guys had gone through, and
And the health scares.
they both have said they should have been dead a long time ago. But did you guys ever think that Ric Flair and Jake the Snake Roberts would outlive Hulk Hogan?
Not
No,
Jake Roberts. No.
no.
I didn't think Ric Flair was going to last as long as he has.
I figured he was dead a couple years ago, honestly.
You know, because he's had some really close calls. You know, even it even interrupted Charlotte's career for a short time. One of his close calls where he had a heart attack or something,
Yeah.
He
and
was in a coma for like
about
3 weeks.
and she left for a couple of months from wrestling early on in her career to be at her dad's side.
Yeah. And it's good
You
they let
know, but I never expected Hogan to go so soon.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
that
You
was a
know,
shock.
and the more I was reading into it, the more it sounded like they knew he was going to go because his health was declining fast, but
Yeah.
they kept a tight lid on it for a while.
Until Bubba started saying stuff.
Yeah.
Well, when
And
Ozzy
I
passed,
disagreed with that because he was telling people Hogan's on his deathbed and this, that, and the other. And it turned out he was right.
The Love Sponge brother or
Yeah.
Doug Murray? Okay.
And so my thinking there is that, okay, maybe everyone else is saying, no, he's fine because they didn't want that information to go out there. But Bubba was just,
Well, because he had his beer company out there and he was starting that new federation, so they didn't want people to think, oh, he's in
and
bad health. Why
he
should?
was also looking at buying Hooters too.
Yeah. I mean, I bought Hooters before. I mean, the food. So. I
Yeah.
didn't
So,
know. I heard Hooters is going downhill, so maybe.
yeah.
it's kind of one of those things with restaurants of the past. That,
Yeah.
it was new idea, and but then the newness wore out.
I got a
Yeah,
Hooters shirt
well,
in the
they
closet.
also got a lot of flack when they started, after a while because they got a lot of protesters about their hiring standards.
Isn't that where Liv Morgan was when they found her? I
A
think.
Hooters girl.
I think she was.
I think she was working for them for a time. I don't know if she was working for them when she got hired on.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think when she got hired, and I didn't. But yeah, because she's made comments on it in the past.
Well, they got so many branch off of the Hoover stuff. You got what's Twin Peaks, and I think there's another one out
Yeah,
there.
I
Yeah,
like Tilted Kill.
got a friend who used to work at Twin Peaks.
What's his
Nice.
name?
I mean, if you're a guy and you're in there working,
Well,
But
there are
somebody's got to cook.
cooks. I was gonna say cooks and occasionally a bartender or two. Not
Good job,
usually.
Nigel.
so yeah, that I never thought because Ric Flair with the lifestyle that he led, it is amazing he's been able to hang on this long, especially after he really did almost die from however long a coma he was in. And then Jake Roberts, he was in very, very bad shape there for the longest
Oh
time.
yeah. If DDP didn't pull him out of that,
I was just
he'd
going
be
to say,
dead.
Yeah,
yeah, DDP
He'd be,
saved his life.
I
he
hear that yogurt is phenomenal, but I haven't tried it
he
yet.
really did.
You
Uh,
know, but it's sad that a lot of those wrestlers, if you look back on it, how a lot of them died, there was, it was all because of like getting addicted to pain pills.
It was the
Or,
lifestyle. You
or,
couldn't stop. You didn't get paid. You got fired back then, so you had to pop the 14 pain.
or in the one guy's case, the roid rage, and the suicides happened.
Yep.
But a lot of it was, cardiac arrest. In, they always it would chalked it up to pain pills and stuff like that, because these guys got addicted to the pain pills, and they were popping them like candy because Vince wanted them to wrestle, even though they were hurt.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
some of them still do it. I mean, look at Cody Rhodes when he was like totally black and blue on the one side,
I still don't understand how he was able to get through that.
Yeah.
or recently with
Kurt Angle.
those guys get hurt and they got their ribs all taped up, and they get in the ring and it's like, what the fuck you thinking? That guy's gonna target your ribs.
Kevin Owens went through it earlier this year.
Yep. How's he doing? Have any updates? I haven't heard anything.
Last I heard that he had successful neck surgery, either last week or 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But I have not heard what the recovery time is looking like.
Okay. Stay till you're completely healthy, Kevin. I know he's not watching. It'd be cool if he was, but
You know,
stay until you're completely healthy.
some of those injuries are also scripted so that the wrestler can take a break.
Right.
Seth Rollins.
Kevin, not Kevin.
No, but
Not
this is a rumor I'm hearing that Seth Rollins is going to show his face at SummerSlam and cash in.
Yeah, Donald and I were talking about that on the last episode.
And I
I am
mean,
reserving judgment on Seth until after SummerSlam, uh, c-
If
because
he,
there were things that he said that don't add up. Because I have never heard of an instant where something is so swollen that an MRI cannot see the damage. I have
same.
well,
never
all,
heard of
all I'm saying is it would be, now that he's got Paul Heyman in his corner, a sneaky thing, one of the sneakiest things to do to stay out of wrestling, and fake an injury and make everybody think you're injured, and then all of a sudden just appear with a referee and the case in hand and cash it in. That
right.
would be a shocker for
It,
him to pull off and be successful at it.
and it could be on the same level as what he did to WrestleMania 31.
Right, right.
Yep.
So I am going to hold off on judging if his injury is legitimate or not
Until
until
after.
after SummerSlam is over.
Well,
If he does not
I'm
cash
just,
in, then he's hurt.
I'm just saying that's a rumor I heard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I heard that like the day after the injury
No,
report.
but it's been getting more and more the closer it gets to
Yeah.
SummerSlam. You know,
And build on it.
but you know, you wouldn't have SummerSlam either if that wasn't for Hogan.
True.
The whole industry wouldn't be as it is. So, I don't know why they do all the bashing on a guy that did so much for the industry.
Well,
Because they're
You know,
they're mixing up the character of Hogan and the real person of Bolia that was kind of said some dickhead things.
yeah, but
Pardon.
like I said, are you perfect?
No, and I'm
I
not
don't
saying
think
that. I'm just saying they're
I'm just
mixing the
saying, everybody's made those mistakes in their lives.
yeah.
Why hold it
No,
against a guy
I
like
agree.
Hogan for so long? You
Yeah, I
know,
agree 100%, Joe. I'm not disagreeing.
I
I'm
mean,
just saying that's what
I'm
people are
not
doing.
saying Hogan should have apologized. He should have, and
yeah,
it might have eased up on him or something.
he
You
did
know, all
apologize. He
right.
did
Well,
apologize.
then see, then people should learn to forgive and forget,
That's
If
because
what
Now
you're
it
Jason's
Triple
telling
wasn't
everyone.
that
H was doing.
it wasn't that severe where he actually hurt somebody intentionally or anybody like that. Somebody's feelings got hurt because he said a couple of words, or big deal.
no, no, I agree. I
You
agree.
shouldn't hold it against the guy. You know,
And especially right after you die. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe a
that's the
month
worst
later,
time to
calling
be
that again.
bringing that stuff up. You know what? Okay, the guy has died. Let him rest. Now everything that's coming, people are bringing up. Guess who's going to be feeling the effects of that? His kids.
Yeah. Although I read Brooke don't like him very much anyway anymore.
Well,
So
she
because
supposedly put out a statement yesterday, a big long statement, um, and she addressed some of that and put everything into a more positive light about with Hogan.
of
So
course,
if that's actually her, because and this is the thing that pisses me off about today's technology is somebody had and it was very obvious an AI video where she's saying she's not going to attend this funeral. She wants nothing to
yeah,
do with the inheritance and all of that. But it's so clear that it was AI.
yeah, you can tell a lot of times just watching the
you know,
will.
Right.
that AI shit pisses me off too.
You can't
Because you
believe
can't,
anything anymore.
I know.
right, you can't believe anything anymore. And when it comes to the paranormal world, you really gotta be a lot more questionable on things,
Right.
because technology is so good that some of the pictures you gotta really look hard to make sure they're fake.
That's
Look, if
why
you
if
can put,
I know the person, I don't trust the person. They'll
if
send
you
me
can,
something like, I don't know you. Donald sends me something, I'll be like, yeah. Any of you guys would? I'd be like, okay, I see what you're seeing, but
if in the movies you can put dinosaurs on a damn movie screen and make it look like they're freaking real, there's nothing else you can.
Or bring a guy back from the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you
there's
know, and have
the,
him
the
in,
technology is
in a
so
movie
advanced now. You can't believe anything that in a
because
private sector goes
they
out.
did that. They did that on what do they call it? Cobra Kai on Netflix.
Yeah,
They brought Mr. Miyagi back for a couple episodes.
they did.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah,
you could tell it was,
Oh,
but
you know,
still, they admitted to it too. But still, the
Yeah, they weren't trying to fool
technology's
people
there.
like
That
that
just
work
proves
video.
it right
look
there.
in Halloween Kills though. They brought Dr. Loomis back, but they used a guy that looked very much like Donald Pleasance. So
Yeah.
they were able to do makeup and everything and not use CGI and make him look just like him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which well, you got one of the Fast and Furious is that they brought um, Brian back,
Did they
you know,
actually in the last
for,
one?
for the ending, for the he had
Oh,
already
like
passed.
yeah, I know that one they did, and I heard they're trying to bring him back for
But
this latest one
but
too.
see, they also got a kicker in that because that movie that he died in the middle of making the movie, his brother finished it out.
Yep.
But yeah, there's an end sequence where it shows him and Dom,
Yeah, driving.
riding off separately, and you can see
Yeah,
really well,
you can
you
see his
know,
face.
So
not
He looks
right.
at him. Yeah,
Now, one thing I do like what they have been doing in some of the movies is de-aging some of the actors, like they did with Michael Douglas in I think it was one of the Ant-Man movies.
yeah,
They de-aged him like 50 years so that
That's
they
pretty
could
cool.
do
yeah. When
a
it's from the
yeah,
storytelling, I don't mind it.
yeah, yeah. So I like that they're able to do that, but it's just that what the people are doing and trying to pass it off as the real thing. That's what
Like
gets
the Brooke Hogan thing.
yes.
Yes. Yeah, and I saw that, but I seen something else too somewhere else from a site I trust pretty much that was saying she got in a fight with Hogan and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
But if she's released something saying she's good, and you should be, I don't think you should. It shouldn't take a death for you to have to be
right.
with
So
your dad. I don't care how big a dickhead you thought he was. You should not have to do that with your dad.
let's get back to Hogan and his matches. In your guys' opinions, I want to ask three things. What do you think was Hogan's best match? What do you think was his best feud? And what do you think was his best moment?
Ooh. Best feud. I'm going to go with Andre, just because that was the one that drew me in. That was something I didn't. Best moment when he came out and rescued Randy Savage. I'll say because again, that just pops me.
Like
And
at
one best.
WrestleMania 4?
I can't remember what your third thing you asked was. It would be the first thing you actually asked, but
Okay.
those are my two answers for those moments. Best
Joe,
what was the question again?
his best match, his best feud, and his best moment.
Uh, well, I really liked. I think his best moment was when he actually turned heel,
fair. I like
you
that. Yeah.
know, and created the NWO. I mean, that was a faction. I mean, you still today see people wearing NWO shirts in the audience,
Yes, you do. Yep.
you know, and you still have the LWO in wrestling,
Yeah.
which was, you know, the Latino, which was a spin-off of that whole
It's so
NWO era.
big. I remember like Bronco World Order, Raider World Order, whoever, Pistons World Order.
That
You
took off
know,
like wildfire. It really did.
Yeah.
but as far as some of his greatest matches, I don't know. I think I'd have to be, you know, where he body slammed Andre. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, that wasn't the moment that got me, but I think that was like the moment that, wow.
Him and Rock was a good match, I thought.
It was a moment that you really believed in the guy. That you thought, oh, if he can slam Andre, he is immortal, kind of, 'Cause
Well, the first person ever to do it, even though he won.
right, right. But a lot of that
Andre's
shit that they
15-year
say,
undefeated streak.
first
Yeah.
person to do this, first person. I don't listen to that crap because it's you know as many times as they say this person's been the world champion. I don't believe that. Some of that bullshit. All the statistics. Go look it up on the internet.
Yeah.
You'll find Ric Flair held more than the championship title, but see, they don't count all of
Two
them.
times or something instead of 16. Or,
Yeah, but they don't count all of the ones. If you counted them all, it's a lot more than that.
It's like
Hmm.
21,
yeah.
25, something like that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, I knew it was in the 20s.
So you can't bull on their statistics. You know.
Right.
It's what they want. WWF or E plays it how they want to play it.
And I think the best feud he had that I really kind of liked was when he was Hollywood Hogan and he was taking on Sting.
Oh,
Them were some good matches because you had the dark side of Sting and the dark side of Hogan. But
yeah.
Hogan was popular because of the NWO and how popular it was still.
Sting and Hogan and TNA was just hilarious. I know you're not talking about that moment, but that was just hilarious. Sting all Joker mad and Joker
Speaking of
sleepy.
TNA, I saw a video where Rick Flair was coming into the office, and as soon as he came in, Hogan threw like a picture into the wall and something about how Rick was supposed to have killed Sting and he didn't. Sting's still alive, and it, that was
But
funny.
yeah, TNA had some weird stuff going on for a
They-
while.
All right, Donald, your turn.
As far as feud goes, I would say the Andre storyline because it not only built up before WrestleMania 3, but went past that in Saturday Night's main events when you had DiBiase getting in the mix of all of it, and you had
WrestleMania 4 and
the
SummerSlam.
twin, the famous twin referee.
Oh yeah, I
When
forgot
that
about that.
came through there, it's like the gig is up, and then it's like two Earl Hebners show up. It's like
One of you
you're
had
like,
surgery,
what
brother.
the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that was to me a big pivotal moment, and it just kind of they took the Andre feud and kept it going and throwing all this other mix
In
of stuff
different ways.
in. Um,
Yeah,
so that was to me
almost 2 years.
one of the best feuds there. Um, his best match. There's so many good matches. It's hard to narrow down, but one that sticks out to me the most in recent years would be him and Rock.
Yeah.
Um, when you got The Rock as the babyface and you got Hogan as a heel, but in mid match, it switched.
Yeah.
You got so many people that are
Oh,
cheering for
I
Hogan
forgot
and
about that.
Yeah.
booing Rock, and they're sitting there staring at each other and listening to the crowd
Yeah.
back
You
and
can see
forth.
them
And it's
both
like,
like, okay, we need to switch this
There's a
up.
reason why I
right,
have that specific clip in the intro because that was such a pivotal moment.
yeah, when they're sitting there staring at each other and the crowd is just going insane.
Yeah,
Um, that was a good moment in his career.
for sure.
What was the last one?
Match, feud, moment.
That would have to be the. I'll have to go with Joe with the NWO, the heel change. That to
Yeah,
me was a very pivotal moment and a great time in wrestling when the Monday Night Wars were going, where everything shifted uh, to the WCW,
82
and
weeks.
they started going doing just different things that you normally wouldn't see.
Yeah.
That whole NWO thing, like Joe said, it took off. You got the red and the black, you got the white and the black, you got the Latino world over. Just so many different factions, and it kind of did flood. It kind of flooded it a little bit. Where you got too many of them. So you got this NWO, you got this NWO. It's like there is no more WCW. It's just all NWO stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it
But
feels
at
like.
the same time now, it also it also because it was one of those cliques that lasted forever, kind of, because you still see the people wearing NWO shirts. But during the Monday Night Wars over at WWF, you had Degeneration X leading the way.
Yeah.
So the NWO and Degeneration X going at it a little bit in those Monday Night Wars segments was a boost for them as well as for both sides.
They were
Right.
they
It,
were
it, it
Both
friends.
those cliques have standed the test of time.
Yep.
yeah.
Because you still see
That was
people wearing
that was their
merch.
answer to DX. It was
Yeah,
NWO. We're going to do what we want when we want. Nobody's going to stop the same way the DX was doing.
Well, no, NWO started before DX did.
Did
Yeah.
they?
right. But
Indeed. The
it
offshoot.
gave
Yeah.
them a reason to start DX to start the war. Because if you notice, there's one person that was definitely in both brands.
Yep.
X Pac was in both DX and NWO.
Six. Six pack.
Yeah,
And he's been
remember
in
that whole thing with Razor Ramon when he was just a rookie?
Razor Ramon. Scott
Yeah,
Hall.
yeah, he beat Razor Ramon. He was known as the 1-2-3 kid then.
Yep. The Lightning Kid. The 1-2-3
no,
Kid.
no, no, no. He was just the kid because there was like
Yeah,
3
and
or
then
4 weeks where he was like the Lightning Kid, the Cannonball Kid, and then he was just the
the
kid
kid,
when he
and
beat
then
Razor.
when he beat Razor Ramon, he became 1-2-3 kid,
Oh, he
and
was skinnier than me in this
Razor
picture.
got pissed,
Jeez.
and the whole thing got up to Razor putting up money to say you can't do it again, and it was a fluke, and you know. But
Yeah.
see, the whole thing is he was in both of those.
Yep.
Think about this for a
I
second.
wish Shawn Michaels.
When it comes to Hogan and
Uh,
his legacy,
Although it was a
if
crappy version of NWO.
say the NWO Hogan never did say they used Sting.
Yeah.
Let's say they used Sting. The NWO wouldn't have had the same impact. That heel turn wouldn't have the
No,
same impact
not at
as
all.
it did with Hogan. Now, your NWO isn't as hardcore as it actually was, where they were coming in doing what they wanted,
Yeah,
saying what
where
they
it was
want,
like
taking the shows over.
they made the bad guys look cool.
Right. Now, if they wasn't as popular, if NWO wasn't as popular back then, would we have the Attitude Era in WWF or
You might
WWE?
not have even had the Shield.
Right.
Shield.
I mean that little pivotal thing could have had the outcome, or did have the outcome of, to
It
me, the
changed.
Attitude Era.
Yeah, and making the clicks like
Because if
that.
they try to match what WCW was doing, we may not never had the Attitude Era where people were coming out. All right, y'all,
it's
just get
all
my
about having the right people in the right place because if you remember when Retribution was coming out,
God.
it was a great concept, but the moment Mustafa Ali was revealed to be the leader, to me it lost all of its luster because you had all of these big guys, you had no idea who they were, and
I like
then this little guy is the one leading it. You would expect like a much bigger name to be a part of this.
but it was supposed to be another group like kind of like the Job Squad, where it was a bunch of overlooked people, and now
and
we're
see
making retribution for it. We're getting
that
retribution.
Yeah.
that whole thing you just brought up, the impact of it in the wrestling world. I don't even remember any of that.
The Retribution.
Yeah,
He,
I
he,
have no idea what you're even
That,
talking
Here we
about.
were about 6 weeks, which was 6 weeks too long. But
that was doing the.
I like Ali. I mean,
I
yeah,
like
but
him
see,
too. It's just that it made no sense for him to be in that group.
I'll get you. I like T-Bar a lot too. Before he became T-Bar, when he was whatever his name was before that, and he actually wrestled instead of trying to be
Dijak.
a strong guy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked him. I liked him in ROH. I liked him.
I
What?
like Dio. He
Yeah,
now he's Madden in the that male models thing.
yeah. They're in TNA, aren't they?
Yeah,
Or
they are totally wasting him because he could have been a big monster. Because he was one of the few that actually stood up to Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw that one time.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, they waste a lot of good talent and release a lot of good talent.
yeah,
they have to keep making money.
I'm gonna have to cut my segment off. I've got to go take my son to work here in a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
Family first, right?
well,
yep.
I got the text, and you saw me kind of go in and out. I was dealing with work issues, and also my son needing to ride to work. So
They always more
We're not
important.
going to be able to be on too much longer because I'm going to need to get over to Dad's here pretty soon
Okay.
myself. But I do want to cut in with my three. I think his best feud was with Roddy Piper.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I forgot about that.
That launched everything for them.
Yep, it did.
Um, his best moment, I think, was with The Rock when everything flipped on them. In his best match, I have to give it to two because I can't go one or the other. Randy Savage at WrestleMania 5 and Ultimate Warrior WrestleMania 6.
Okay.
I,
Well,
I
that
can,
WrestleMania 6 was the first WrestleMania that I actually got to sit and watch while it was happening. Um,
yeah, it was one
that
of
was
the.
a big pivotal because I was a Warrior fan. It's like when Hogan at the end of the match was like kicking out, and it's like, oh shit, here we go again. The same
Dead
crap.
cockroach.
Yeah, it's like, gosh dang it. And he winds up,
That's what we always called it around here, was the dead cockroach. Because he starts shaking.
yeah,
yeah.
it's like
But I
that
love
was
those
the most
moments every time
pivotal.
as a kid. He'd point. You.
And now, in later years, it's like everybody expecting as soon as it hits it there, everybody in the crowd's going, you.
Yep.
It's Hulk Hogan has had really probably the best career anybody could have ever asked for.
The
Um,
goat.
he was the first three, four, five, and six-time world champion for the WWF. No, five times. Steve Austin was the first six-time. I'm looking at. No, no, I'm wrong again. The Rock was the first six-time, and then Austin, then Hogan. Um, and Hogan was the first back-to-back Royal Rumble winner, the second ever to win WWF and WCW titles. I'm not counting Buddy Rogers because that was NWA. Um, Headlined was the last match of 8 of the first 9 WrestleManias.
That was what we should have been.
It Everybody knew him whether they watched wrestling or not.
Yeah.
He, as far as I know, is the only wrestler to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Um,
I think you're
and
right.
then he made the jump to doing movies, although his movies weren't successful,
Great.
not like The Rock's are. But I
Different
still
time.
think these movies are pretty good.
Time and place.
Nanny. Mr. Nanny, I thought was a really good movie.
Just a
Um,
different time, different movie set.
yeah,
Hogan
Um,
would be that big if him and Rock had switched times. That'd be, you know what I mean? I don't mean Rock being Hogan at all, but I mean Hogan in Rock's place.
Yeah,
He'd
if
have,
Hogan would have came in later.
And then
yeah,
there's this. He released a music album.
yep, I remember that. Because he could actually play guitar. He should have played himself into real
Yeah,
nice.
actually, what I read, he started playing bass guitar.
Yeah,
Yes, he was a bass guitarist. Then there's, he's put out this book. I don't know if he's put out any other books besides this. I don't think he has.
Did you know he was three-time Hall of Famer?
2 time.
Three-time.
what are they?
He's in the WWE Hall of Fame twice.
And the TNA.
Singles wrestler and for NWO.
2005 as an individual, 2020 as part of a New World Order.
Yeah.
And then he's in the NJPW Hall of Fame in 1990
Oh, okay.
as part of the Greatest 18 Club Wing. And in the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2003 as part of the Modern Era Wing.
Well, think about,
So that's actually 4 times because it's twice for the WWE.
you think about matches and all that, pivotal moments in the career. Remember the NWO and DX coming out and kind of clashing at one of the WrestleManias.
I didn't like that a lot. That felt really sloppy to me. But
It was, but it was one of those pivotal moments where like you thought you would never see.
Right.
yeah,
And,
But if they had happened in their primes, holy shit.
oh my God, it would have been huge.
Yeah.
if
You
they
know,
done some kind of cross
from what I
promotion,
said earlier, way back, they dropped the ball when they basically eliminated WCW. When they bought it, they should have kept it separate and had the crossovers
yeah,
They should have, absolutely.
instead of just crushing everything to do with it and doing away with it, basically.
have the invasion angle and then nothing.
Yeah, the invasion was like, oh my God, when they bought it and Shane McMahon's on the screen on and WCW, but he's on the Titantron. It's like, what the hell is going on?
And that was a great. I loved it, but yeah,
Yeah,
Here's the thing: would they have been able to financially sustain that, though?
I mean they bought it.
Yeah, they bought it for $750,000,
Yeah,
but to be able to run it as his own brand would have cost millions.
they would have had to cut. They would have had to release a bunch of wrestlers like they already did. But that crossover, that invasion thing between the three factions, ECW, WWF, and ECW.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. They did the whole ECW CW thing.
Yeah, ECW, WCW, and
Yeah, that did
WWF or
very well.
WWE at the time. It was like that was like
To release a lot of the little level people. I think they could have because I think that was their initial plan, and then they
Yeah.
didn't. Well, it was just Vince actually just wanting to eliminate all the competition, which I didn't like. I read it, I was like, no, that's going to be a monopoly.
I,
But it wasn't
Yeah.
because of all the independents.
well,
I,
if
I
you did it,
wanting to do that, but at the same time, it actually hurt him in the long run because he had some competition, meaning he had no reason to really step up his game like he did in the mid '90s.
And you can tell. You can just tell the quality of product once you
Right.
buy it. It just goes.
But
There's no thought into it anymore.
as far as Hulk Hogan goes, I know some people will have their opinions, and granted, I can understand those opinions, but no matter what, you cannot take away what Hulk Hogan contributed to not only the WWF, WWE, but to professional wrestling as a whole. Because if it not for him, none of them, the wrestlers, executives, none of them would be where they're at.
We're not sitting here right now.
Would not be where we're at,
yeah,
and these podcasts would probably not be where we're at.
Right?
I agree.
All
Yeah,
wrestling podcasts, video games.
He
Yeah,
changed the whole landscape of wrestling.
Yes.
You know,
Wrestling merch would not be wrestling merch.
well, no, he got in early with the whole thing was. Remember early on, it was like Titan Sports, and it was Hogan
Pick
that
this up
was
yesterday.
helped Vince with that. He was partnered with Vince in Titan Sports, and they came out with the very first video game. Which kind of sucked, but you got to realize at the time the graphics weren't that great on video games or the memory. So you didn't have the technology we have now, but that started it all, and
yeah. My
you know,
first system
The
was a
arcade games,
2600.
those graphics were perfect.
now you look at their games today that are made by 2K because they bought out the rights to it,
Mhm.
and their games look a lot more realistic than they ever used to.
Yeah,
The graphics got better. They added more that you could do and stuff like that.
There
You
have
know,
been times where I would look at something on YouTube and I'm like, is this actually a video game or is this for real?
It's
yeah,
hard
yeah,
to tell
yeah.
sometimes.
it
Any,
is. I mean, they were doing that early on with the Madden games too. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I've got to
but
run.
thing that upset me the most is that they took and only gave the newest systems, which is a PlayStation 5 and the Xbox X or S or whatever it is,
Series X.
the rights to the island if you buy the Bloodline edition of the thing. So I
Right.
don't have that because I bought it for Steam, and I don't have the Xbox X or S. I got the Xbox One, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways. But same price,
Right.
Jeremy, you
which
did
kind of sucks.
I've got to run.
Okay,
I
we are
enjoyed the
going to
show.
wrap up the
Steve
show.
Donald, take care,
Uh,
bud.
definitely want to say Hulk Hogan hit me hard. Um,
Yes,
I'm still trying to accept that he's actually gone because he was one of those larger than life people.
it it
Yeah,
stuck.
it was a part of our childhood growing up.
Yes.
That one stuck with me harder than almost any celebrity death ever. I'll say
Well, he
most
he
of
he,
them like I don't even attach to this person, and I think that's why.
he
Ozzy, yeah, awesome musician, did nothing, but Hogan, I like you. I'm still processing
yeah.
it.
Overall, he's going to be the third worst one for me. It's going to hit me harder when Bret Hart goes because he was my all-time favorite. And then, of course, my favorite singer, Richard Marx, when he goes, that's going to hit me hard too.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
But aside from
Junkyard
those,
Dog.
Hogan right now is the worst one for me.
yeah,
Junkyard Dog is a pivotal one for me because I grew up watching him. I actually got his autograph and stuff like
Ooh.
that. One of the smaller shows. Um, so I guess the next one would probably be Jake or Taker.
yeah,
Jake Roberts when he goes. Yeah, it's gonna be
that'll be rough too.
yeah. Because I mean I remember him, early
The
on.
childhood ones are the ones that are gonna hit me.
Right.
Hogan will still be the biggest probably, but all the childhood ones are gonna hit me. The wrestlers from about '95 on that have came in probably aren't gonna hit me.
Well, all of mine are dropping off.
Yeah,
Hogan's gone.
Well,
same.
Ric Flair is
Great
probably going to be
watching.
next.
Who?
But
Who?
Ric Flair is probably going to be next.
Probably.
yeah, that's what he said. I'm hoping that's not true, but you just never
Yeah,
know.
well, with his health and the way it's been going, it's just a matter of time for him. You
It's
You,
know,
we
you
still
need
keep
to shut
hitting.
down Space Mountain. He'll be okay for a while longer.
Well, you think about how big you think you are. You're just here for a little time.
Yeah.
Oldest ride,
You know,
longest
all of
ride.
us are getting
no,
older.
they
Hopefully, it'll be a while before we have our next wrestling death because after this one, it's going to take a while to bounce
Yeah.
back.
well, you got
That's like
Ric
what I said.
Flair.
That's like damn, we just had Ozzy pass, and then 2 days later you got Hogan. I was like, gosh, God, who's next?
You know, Ozzy didn't affect me that much because we all saw it coming.
That
Everybody
would be
saw that one coming
Yes.
because he
I
had
got
to
to run,
sit in
guys.
he had to
I'll
sit in
catch you.
that chair.
good day, Donald.
See you later, Donald. He had to sit during that whole concert, farewell concert.
They had to
Pretty
strap
much.
him to the throne that
Right.
he's sitting in.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just a matter of time.
Right,
He
but
was,
I
yeah,
didn't think it was going to be that soon after the concert.
No.
he knew. It's kind of eerie. It's kind of like the Ultimate Warrior saying when you breathe your last breath, and then like 2 days later dying. It's like, wow.
That was eerie.
Yeah,
Yeah. That
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 was eerie.
whole
But you could also see it in his face how flushed he was the entire time at the Hall of Fame when he was doing that speech.
yeah.
But you could going back on it, you could see it. But
You didn't think about it at the time too much.
so okay, so we have SummerSlam coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Um,
Won't be able to
three
watch
hour
Saturday.
pre-shows on both nights. That's gonna be a long day.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother to watch those pre-shows.
Saturday, I'll be investigating at the Abbey, so won't
Oh,
be
that's
able
right.
to.
It will be.
So I'll miss that. Sunday, hopefully, I'll be home in time. I'm only like 2.5 hours from home, so
Well, how can you miss it? If
well,
you got Peacock, you can watch it anytime you want.
I know, but I mean, I won't be able to watch it live.
He's
Right.
not going to be able to get the first night watch before the second one
Yeah,
starts.
I just have to. If that ever happens to me, I try to avoid the internet at all costs, so I get no.
Yeah, and I might scan through. I mean, you can send me updates if you want to. I'm not averse to spoilers, Jeremy. So you can, oh, John Cena won or whatever you want to do. I don't care. That don't bother me.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're not going to be able to respond back to me, and that's part of the night is that you bitching
Oh.
about this and that, and me. Oh, shut.
Right, right. I know. We got to do a live feed
Yeah,
sometimes. The live
You
stream.
know,
Watching the
right.
people.
You're not going to be able to do that. So unless Joe here does it, but he disappears on pay per view night.
He gets into him. I bet.
Yeah.
yeah, well, because I'm sitting out in my living room, not right in front of my computer.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm taking
Bigger,
away.
bigger
Pass on
TV out there, bigger screen to
Yeah.
watch it on.
So I might not be able to watch the first night. I might be read up on highlights, and then second night watch it. Watch at least the second night.
Well, the first night they have Punk and Gunther, so we're going to find out if Seth cashes in on that night or not.
Go Gunther.
Because
First time. Right.
if the injury is not legitimate, then I can see Punk winning the title and Seth coming in and ruin it because that's just how it is between those two.
Yep,
Right.
a
So
lot of bad blood there between those two.
yes. Um,
Or they just flip it up and he cashes in on the SmackDown person.
all right.
I'm not so sure.
Hey Tom.
I'm not so sure Rollins is going to want to be on SmackDown. You know,
Never know. Drag titles,
He was
switch.
on SmackDown before, wasn't he?
Yeah.
yeah, but I think he wants. I think he wants to ruin CM
Yeah.
Punk
And I totally agree with you there. I'm
a
just
lot
saying.
more than going after the SmackDown title.
I agree with you.
And,
But
and Becky is on Raw too, so he'll want to stay there with her.
yeah.
So all right. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. We're all just past the 2 hour mark.
Yeah,
So
10
uh,
o'clock here. So
yep. I'm going to take a nap.
I
okay.
know.
I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Whoosh. I'm gonna get ready.
Got up early.
Yeah, I woke up with a sneezing fit.
Jeremy, I've been putting that sensor on my stomach and it's been working wonderful, dude. So I don't know if you want to tell your dad about that or not, but
Oh, that's what he was supposed to. Dad went to the VA yesterday for one of his appointments. He was supposed to ask about that, and he and I were trying to think. Okay, what else are you supposed to talk about? He has an appointment next week.
Okay.
Uh,
Write that down. It works
no,
great for me.
in 2 weeks. He has an appointment on the 12th and the 20th, so I'll make sure that to ask. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I forgot. I was
Yeah.
trying to think of what he was supposed to say.
I bump it occasionally on a table because I'm a little bit fat. So, like when I slide in at a restaurant or something. So, you kind of got to watch that. But otherwise, but you said he'd already had it there. So,
The old version, yes, but not this one where he has to put it on here.
yeah, this is.
Right, because he's under the impression that it can only be on. Yep, that's exactly what he's got.
Yeah, yeah. No, my friend had one. He said you can use your stomach, and I do. And let me look. Right now, well, I'm a little bit high, and you can't see it because of the glare. But I'm 112 blood sugars, and you can.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I still have to work on the whole connection thing with the phone.
yeah, that's a whole different argument. But yeah,
Yeah.
even their own site says you can put it in the tummy. So
Okay. Yeah, I'll say something to him. I'm going to be going over there in about 20 minutes. All
well,
right. So
enjoy everybody.
thank you guys for being on this show. I knew it was going to be a bit of an emotional thing.
Bless.
Never thought that we would lose Hulk Hogan this soon. I thought we'd probably get another 10 years out of him.
I
Well,
know.
he looked like, in those commercials when he came out and before he was booed, he looked like he was in pretty good shape for as old as he was.
Oh, yeah, he was still working out.
I mean, I would have thought Flair would have went before Hogan.
He was still taking his vitamins. He
Well, he wasn't using steroids anymore. You could tell that.
cleaned up. He found
And,
his.
and that's probably what it was for him. Because most people that use steroids, they die a lot younger.
The hard
And,
enlarges.
and Hogan was able to make it into his 70s. So,
The hard enlarges is what happens.
right. All right. Well, thank you guys for being on the show and those in the audience for playing along. I don't know when Mark's on. I think we're going to try to do a show next week. I'll have to get with Donald about that. Do a SummerSlam review because I have a feeling we're going to have a big SummerSlam, and I'm hoping that they do a
Well,
10 salute for him.
it's the first time they're going to do a 2 night SummerSlam as well. So
Yes.
they got a lot of spots to cover, and they better make it a good one. More than I mean, WrestleMania has been a little disappointed lately since they made everything 2 nights.
2 nights is too much.
Well, it's not just that, but when they stopped, WrestleMania was like their Super Bowl,
Yeah.
right? Remember the first one they had like Liberace and they had all these famous people as a timekeeper, guest ring announcer, and all this shit. They don't do that anymore.
They don't have to.
But they
It
should have
attracts
stuck
them.
with
They
tradition
need
that
to, though.
way.
Yeah,
They
I
need
agree. They need to. They don't have to. So why spend the money?
Yeah.
but they should stick with the tradition and make it that big of an event.
Right. I'm just playing the devil's
You know,
advocate here. I
have all
totally
the
agree.
guest announcer, guest referee, and not old wrestlers or retired wrestlers like current movie stars, famous actors and celebrities, real true celebrities and icons. Oh, you know,
Pam Anderson
yeah.
with Shawn Michaels. I remember that. But anyway,
Anyway, we're going to end the show. Again, thank you guys for being on here with us. Uh, good show. Good show. Sad to see Hogan gone. We
rest
knew eventually that would happen, but
It was still too soon.
it was still way too soon.
Yeah.
71. Dang.
Yep. But at least he's getting the tributes on all three brands, which I don't think has ever happened before, but he deserves it.
I think they should have done something on AEW too, but
Did they not? I thought they did. They spoke
I don't
about
know
it.
if they did. They might have said
Kind of
something or
said something
something.
on Saturday.
I think
I don't
Ronnie
always watch it, but I did know that they did it on all three night. They started with SmackDown. They had a big thing, then the Monday Night Raw, and I didn't see the thing about NXT, but they I read about it being
Yeah,
on NXT. And it's like, well, that's cool. I hope they do something. And I said that to myself before I even came on here. I hope they do something at SummerSlam too,
I do too.
because he was that big of an icon. I mean,
Yep.
you know,
he
I'm
will
sure
be
there was wrestlers or people that wanted to be there for that for him or something to and given that if they do it again at SummerSlam, those people have got a chance to show up.
he'll be the
Yeah,
AI main event. No, I'm kidding. Speaking of AI, like we were earlier, kidding, of
yeah,
course.
Oh, I hate AI.
so do
Yeah.
I.
All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and cut off. You guys have a good night. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your SummerSlam. And Marks on Wrestling will be back soon. See you guys later.
Rest easy, big man.